What's up, everybody, and welcome into the Bears Den. I am Saul, joined as always by my co-host and reporter, Shawn Sierra. How we doing, Shawn? Let's just pretend that last Sunday didn't happen. So, besides last Sunday, how do you feel like overall?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing really well. Good workout this morning. Good lunch.
There you go.
I'm good to go.
See there you go. You just take out Sunday, and it's like nothing happened. You know, at that, but unfortunately, it did happen. And yes, the Bears are sitting at 4-3, entering Week 9, and they lost to the Commanders. Man, the Hail Mary lost to Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, and yeah, I mean, there's really it's been the talk of the NFL. I feel like, besides the Jets, who keep being put on prime time for some reason, and they won last night. I'll give them that, but. Yeah. What did you think about the game just as a whole, though? I mean, we'll break it down, but it's just it was definitely one of the more interesting games I feel like in the last few years, man.
Yeah, I didn't like the slow start.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think I told you last time. If we can combine Luke Getsy's first 15 and Shane Waldron's ability to adjust, we have the perfect offensive coordinator. Perfect offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Luke Getsy couldn't adjust, but man, his first 15 were something nice. Yep. And now Shane Waldron, his first 15 suck, but man, he can adjust like a champion. Just put those two together, and we have a perfect offensive coordinator. We'd have Ben Johnson. All right, how about that?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, right. It's frustrating to see like how they start and. They were going right earlier in the season. They were like, oh, they weren't, they were scripted. They weren't scripted. And then it was like, it's a whole thing. And I feel like they just can't perfect anything when it comes to the beginning of the game. And I'm just I'm telling you, I'm just so used to it. Like I watch a game with like my brother that doesn't watch them every week. And I'm just like, this is just the Bears. Like at the beginning of a lot of games, it's like 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And it's like, it's just frustrating to see week in and week out, some stuff like that happen, which is crazy because the last 3 weeks they had wins and, they've been able to cook a little more, but that was just a bad start. But and that was the part of it is that it was a slow start, but they were able to come out in the fourth quarter and latter stages of the third quarter and fourth quarter and play a little better. Caleb was out there, throwing dimes to like Keenan Allen and all that stuff. So it was a little better. But what did you think about him rebounding? At least from that, that start, because even he said, they got to do better in executing, and they were able to do that later in the fourth quarter. Obviously, we'll get into the particular play where everyone was talking about the Kramer handoff. We'll get into that, but besides that, what did you think about Caleb bouncing back and kind of showing some resilience there, which we've seen from him before, but this time, in an important game where really they should have won.
Well, I got to combine both of those things. The biggest issue that bugs me was the fact, about us losing is that Caleb was a gamer. All right. Mm-hmm. If you remember early on, both Ryan Poles and Caleb both said, hey, you know what? Let me lean on my teammates. Okay. When it's time to go be special, let me go be special. Okay. Well, Matt Eberflus really took away a chance for Caleb to be special. Okay, or he didn't take it away. He was still special, but they would have walked out of that with a win, right? How many times have we had a quarterback who's allowed us to come back in the fourth quarter and win? I mean, look at what he does toward the end of halves, and now he had a chance to do it at the end of the game, and he did. We scored a touchdown with 25 seconds to go. All right, how many times have we had a quarterback? I mean, I'm a big Justin Fields guy, but Justin Fields didn't do that for whatever reason. The roster, whatever reason, play calling, it still didn't get done. This shit got done. All right, he got done. He went down. How much more could he? I mean, does he have to be Larry Bird and shoot a 3 with no time left on the clock? Is that what I mean? Like that's what he's got to do. I mean, it's good, and that's where you get confidence. Like this team, there's an old saying: there's nothing you can learn from. There's nothing you can't learn from almost losing. No, there's nothing you can learn from losing that you can't learn from almost losing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have liked that win. I really think it destroyed a big confidence, and he's still gonna have some confidence, but it would have been a lot more had he been able to come back and
Yeah.
it showed moxie when you play like crap 3.5 quarters, all right, and you're still in the game, and you do everything in your power to come back, and you go back and you win it, man. That talk about the level of confidence that it would inject into Caleb, into this offense, into this team, into the city.
Yeah.
Just one. It's not just one person that's affected. It's Caleb. It's the offense. It's the whole team. It's this whole city. And Matt Eberflus took that away, and that's the thing that really stuck about it.
Yeah, and it also reminds me what you said there about losing and learning is like it also reminds me of week 1, right, with the Titans. Is that they won that game, but they learned a lot of like things you can't do, and you would think that would be something that they could learn from and something that they could use in the game like this, right? Because obviously, look, like the Commanders are playing well. They're 5-2. Obviously, they got Jaden Daniels is playing well. Yeah, they got. But the thing is, realistically, you look at like on paper. I know some people don't like talking about on paper, but on paper is like the Bears are a better team.
Yeah,
like they have a better defense, have a better offensive weapons. So I thought going in there, I was like, it's not going to be easy, but I think the Bears have a good chance they can win out there, right? They just it's really just gotta be about the QB play, whatever. And yeah, it just didn't happen. Even though, it should have. Obviously, that Hail Mary. I know people are going to be sitting here talking about, oh, Jaden Daniels is him, but it's like, dude, it's a Hail Mary. It's like, right? Is it right? Can't we just say it, Shawn? I mean, you're out here, you played football. It's like, sure, you got to give credit for a guy throwing, 60, 70 yards, but at the end of the day, like, it's a Hail Mary.
Luck.
Exactly. Yeah.
Luck.
Like,
what it is.
Great. And it's the thing, like
a half-court shot is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because people out here, obviously, because we said it, or we talked about this before, is like this matchup was always going to be whoever wins, like automatically the rookie of the year favorite, offensive rookie of the year favorite, all this stuff, and it's like, I mean, even Jaden Daniels talked about how he didn't play as well as he wanted to play. It's like obviously he's playing with a fractured rib and all this stuff, and credit to him because he had some great runs and all that stuff, but. He obviously could have played better. But I do want to show a little bit of the fourth quarter of kind of what you were talking about and just how it all went down. Here we go.
3rd and 10. Here comes the blitz. They protect him. He gets it to his fellow rookie, and O'Doon looks good when they go quickly. Here's a bootleg. Williams able to get around Armstrong. Now throws it across his body. Look at that throw. Keenan Allen to the 18-yard line. One-on-one here. You want to throw it? Go ahead. Put everybody in here and go. Handoff. Johnson up ahead. He's across. Touchdown, Chicago. Look at shovel pass. And they complete it to Komet for the 2.
Yeah, I mean, they had led. Those are the type of plays that you like to see. I mean, the Keenan Allen one was one of my personal favorites. And it's just like going down. I was like, man, look,
bro, he broke every quarterback rule that you do. You never roll right and throw back across your body to the middle of, you never do that. And, and then if you do, you better put some zip on it. He lofted it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the kid's special. Let's not, regardless of whoever you wanted, the kid's still special. It was never an issue of his talent. The kid is special. There's a lot of things he can do that are great. All right. And we're starting to see him. We're starting to see him. And the thing that would really suck is that that sucks is he lost the game, okay, because of poor coaching. All right. He lost the game. He didn't have a good game to begin with, but it was there for the taking and he took it. And the coaches gave it right back. And that's the unfortunate thing. So yeah, the kid can do some things, man. He can do some things, and it's real comfortable. Like, I'll tell you what, moving forward, I'm not worried if we're down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried if we're down a score or 2 in the fourth quarter. I'm really not. If we're down 10 points, 11 points, I'm not worried. All right, I'm not worried about because it seems like this guy really likes when the pressure's on.
Uh-huh.
It seems like he's really, really comfortable when the pressure's on. They go up tempo. His reads are quicker. Everything's happening a lot quicker. Boom, boom. And it seems to me that he likes that type of environment, and he thrives in it. So if we're down a score or 2, moving forward, I'm not going to be scared. I ain't scared.
It's a weird feeling, right? Being like, I'm like being a little bit of confidence in the fourth quarter. You're like, Oh yeah, and yeah, when they were going downfield, I'm like, okay, like I feel pretty good about this. Like, let's do it, right? It's just like
Yep.
it's just a weird feeling to have as a Bears fan. You just like so used
Very
to,
weird.
yeah.
Very weird.
But going into what because obviously the coaches talked yesterday, and Matt Eberflus, they talked to him, and it's the classic, kind of avoiding the question. I appreciate your question type of stuff, and you've been in the room asking them questions, Shawn, so and it's just a little bit of the same, but we'll show you a little bit of what I'm talking about, and because we'll talk a little bit about Waldron as well too, because it's interesting the way that they have talked about these plays, and especially the Kramer handoff again, that led to a fumble at the 1 yard line. But here's a little bit of Flus.
In terms of the Washington, conversation, in terms of what that, going back to that, I've talked with Tyreek. Him and I had a great conversation, and again, I'll keep it there with him and I. We had a after action report, like we always do when we assess the game. Things we did well, things we need to improve on, and then working from that and how we're going to improve those things. Every single week we do that. And, we had that part of our Monday meeting and talking to the guys through Tuesday. And again, it's all about accountability and execution, and that starts with me. And the game didn't finish the way we wanted it to. And again, that starts with me. And we hold each other accountable that way. But again, we'll have answer for those things, and that's why we do the after action report.
Are we going to start on Sunday?
Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to talk about the Tyreek in terms of starting, not starting, all those things. But I will say this: that Tyreek's made a lot of plays for this group and for our defense and for our football team over the last couple years, and he's going to continue to do that. So we're behind Tyreek and we're with him all the way. And again, we'll work through this as we go. Again, like I said, it's we'll see where everything goes with that. I appreciate your question, and I understand where you're going with it. And again, I'm not going to talk about who's starting, who's not starting, all those things. Those conversations we had together, individually, one-on-one.
Do you have a sense that right now is a time where you need to regroup and really get things on the right track? Does this feel like a pivotal moment to you?
Yeah, I've said it before. Every week in the NFL is the week, and this is the week.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one thing we haven't mentioned is the whole Tyreek Stevenson thing. But how did you feel when you saw it? Because that's one of the things that people have been talking about, and it's like I feel like it could have gone either way. It's just it's a really weird thing that happened at the end. Obviously, he was out there with the fans saying stuff, and then he didn't notice the play had started. He runs over there late, and he's the one that bats it into Noah Brown's hands. And what did you think about the situation, Shawn? Because obviously you coach football, like you played football. Like, how did you feel about that whole situation?
Well, it starts with Flus first.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And whoever Flus has in the box, someone had to see it. Because there are people in the press box who saw it. Right? Plenty of people in the press box who saw it. So the question is, if they can see it, what about the people that you have that are hired to watch what's going on up there? Couldn't someone get down and say, hey, Coach Flus, call timeout right now. Tyreek's out of position. Timeout. Mm-hmm. Coach Eric Washington, was he looking? He said in his meeting yesterday, he was looking at everybody, didn't really see Tyreek over there. All right, but there's got to be somebody. So that starts with with the people that you have covering your ass, covering your back, is Coach Eberflus. All right, that starts with him. But as far as Tyreek, my question, I have a couple questions. One, why did you feel comfortable enough to do that? Why it's a scathing indictment on Coach Eberflus, because I asked the question. I said, and we'll go back to think of some of the greatest defenses, 85 Bears. You think anyone on the 85 Bears would have done that? You think anyone on the 86 New York Giants would have done that? You think anyone on the 2000 Ravens would have done that? You think anyone on Lovey's team would have done that? Do you think that? No. There would have been a fight in the locker room. So you're getting punched in the face. There would have been a fight between 3 or 4 captains. Who's going to beat this guy's ass first? Because that's not how you play. That's old school. All right, and that's how you know that there's a situation that the culture that they're talking about is one that's not very disciplined. It seems like they allow. Then you heard Kevin Byard, you heard Jalen Johnson, you heard a couple guys say, hey, there's sometimes in practice we don't really go over mistakes, we don't do things over again, and things like that. So all of a sudden there's starting to be a couple of chinks in the armor here, no pun intended. You know what I mean? And some cracks and it's not a
Mhm.
good thing for Eberflus. Okay,
Yeah.
when your captains are coming out saying, "Hey, this is what we're doing." Cole Kmet, same thing. All right, so I was livid that someone had the audacity to go and jaw, and the fact that no one walked up to him and gave him a two-piece. All right, one's indicative of today's NFL, but two shows there's no leadership, because we should have heard, or there should have been rumors about there was a fight in the locker room that we should have heard, and Tyreek Stevenson was in it. All right, because someone should have said, "Hey, because you, one, you're jawing around with the fans. Two, you came over, you didn't do your job. Your job was to box out Noah Brown. All right, you actually tipped it to him." And see, the thing that, like that, like as a DB, they talk about working on that. Well, once the ball's tipped, there's no pass interference. So you literally stand right next to him. And if that thing's tipped, you grab him and throw him to the ground. There is no pass interference once the ball is tipped. So you have free reign to knock the hell out of somebody, and you didn't do that. Instead, you tipped it to the guy who's wide open. So I was mad. I feel he should be benched. I feel he shouldn't even dress. Okay? And if we lose, guess what? If the guy who goes into gets burned, guess what? That's on you, because you want to act a fool. But I don't think Eberflus will do that, because he's still fighting for his job. But we do have depth with Terrell Smith and Jalen Jones, who can go in there and play at a suitable level, not at a Tyreek Stevenson level, but at a suitable level. So I just thought it was very immature. I know he apologized, but you know what? You can't take back what happened. You can't take words back that you said. You can't unring a bell, so to speak. And I'm really disappointed in him and in Eberflus. Had he come out and said, "Hey, that was yesterday's clip from yesterday, where that was the first time all week he said it starts with me." Mm-hmm. Everything else was about other people and deflecting. If he just came out of the game after the game and said, "Hey, you know what? I didn't get these guys prepared well enough." That's what you need. That's leadership. That's what you need from a coach. That's what Caleb's dad retweeted about another coach.
Yeah.
He said anything about it, but hey, that's another story. But I didn't like how it happened with Tyreek, what he did, why he felt comfortable doing it. I didn't like that there were no repercussions afterward, either from teammates or the coaches. And I didn't like the way that, and why did you have to say, well, Tyreek's made a lot of plays for us over the years? Second year. He's second year. He's a good player. But it doesn't mean that you don't have to say something nice after you try, after you reprimand him. And that bugged me with Luce, and that bothers me with him. So that's the thing. I'm not happy with how it happened. I'm not happy with the coaching staff about it. I'm not happy with the team about it, the leaders. Like, there should have been someone in his face afterwards being like, "Dude, what the hell were you doing?"
Yeah, not to mention, you mentioned it with Flus, absolutely right. And also just the fact that, earlier in the week you said that, that the last play didn't matter. Right? That like the last 15 yards didn't matter. And it's like, not only were they not supposed to be in this situation to begin with, of even allowing that Hail Mary or the positioning, as you mentioned, but they weren't even supposed to be that deep into the field. Like, they just weren't supposed to be on that part of the field, because that last play should have been stopped. Like, they should have had something to stop that. And
think about where it landed, Saul. That landed right around the 1 or 2 yard line.
Yeah.
Think of 13 yard. If that happened in the 13 or 14 yard line, which is exactly the amount of yardage that they gained to play before, even if it gets tipped, you still have a chance to tackle somebody. Uh-huh. And then another question I had: why didn't you bring pressure? The thing about Hail Marys, you need time for the receivers to get down there. So if you blitz 5 or you blitz 6, you still got 5 people back there. There's only 4 receivers can go out. Okay, only receivers can go out, because you got only 5 eligibles, and a quarterback's got to throw the ball. So only 4 other receivers, or 5 receivers. I'm sorry. You can blitz 5 or blitz 6, and you have 1-on-1. But guess what? Those guys are running down the field, and they're going to be overmatched. There's going to be one extra rusher than blocker. So there was a lot that went wrong with it. You should have blitzed. You should have put pressure on him, not giving him time. And what you do is you pressure him from his right side. Because you're going right, and he's right-handed. You're a lot easier. You can throw. You're stronger running to your right. You can't run left, run and throw as far or as deep, running to your left if you're a right-handed quarterback. So these are things that you have to think of. The things that high school stuff. I used to think of this when, as a DC, if I had a couple of plays like this, like, okay, let's make him roll to his left. We're bringing pressure from his right. He's got to go left, which means he can't get as much on the ball. Or if he does, he's got to stop and set his feet. We might be able to hit him beforehand. So a lot of things that Eberflus did poorly ended up in a loss, causing us to lose.
Yeah, and I think that's why, he's getting the flack that he's getting. And I think a lot of people from, sports talk and where some people were even saying like, oh, he's not getting enough heat. Is like in Chicago, oh, he's getting a lot of heat. I mean, he's been getting heat. He was getting heat even through the 3-game winning streak. Like, it's just like, it's all it is. We all know the type of coach he is already. It's been years. We know the type of coach he is. So it's just a reality now, and it's tough to like see stuff out there, like for example, the whole thing with the Lions offensive coordinator Shawn Johnson, he was eyeing the job, and it's not impossible. Maybe next year or whenever there's a vacancy, who knows whenever the vacancy will be, if he could slide in, but it's just like what could have been, I feel like, if they would have had him enter this season, but he's definitely in the proverbial hot seat by just in every way. I don't care if you're over 500. I don't care if you won 3 games in a row. It's just a reality of where the Bears are roster wise and where they should be, and they're just not. So yeah, we'll see what happens. There's these next couple games are going to be important because we talked about it even before the season started. I said I feel like you got to be 6-3 going into that gauntlet of games against the division rivals, because it's going to be just insane once you get after it in week 10 against the Packers, and you got like the Vikings and all that. And it starts this week with another game that I feel like the Bears should win. But it's a very good team. It's a talented team. They got a wide receiver they picked in the top 10 of Marvin Harrison. They got Kyler Murray, who's plays similar to Jaden Daniels, but obviously he's way more seasoned now, right? He's a veteran, and he knows how to do this and that, and he's just dangerous. So how do you see the Bears matching up against the Cardinals this Sunday, Shawn?
I'm nervous. All right. Though I don't know if you remember the last couple of weeks or 2 weeks prior to this game, this precinct game, this most recent game, the Jags and the Panthers. I said, if the Bears give them the respect that they deserve as their opponent, they'll blow them out. Okay. They didn't give this team the respect that they deserved. Okay. They didn't give the Commanders the respect that they deserved. And you saw it. They started off slow, poor fundamentals. All right. If they give this team the respect that they deserve. See, the thing is, people are, and I don't know what's going on in Hallis Hall, but everyone outside is still talking about Sunday's game. They're not talking about the Cardinals. Yeah. Hopefully they move forward. But if you prepared and gave them the respect that the Cardinals deserve as your opponent on Sunday, we'll beat this team. We'll blow this team out. Hopefully they do that. All right. Hopefully they do that, because they're just not. Cardinals aren't on our level. I don't think their defense can handle our offense. I mean, their offense can't handle our defense. Okay, we have a lot more weapons on offense. Not saying they don't have weapons on offense. We just have more. And I think our ground game can really hurt them. They're 27th in the passing defense. I'm talking about the Cardinals. So with that, you think, okay, throw the ball right away. No, run the ball right away. Run it. Force them into making their pass defense even weaker by bringing somebody down in the box. All right, because you can't stop the pass. You never earn the right to rush the passer, and if you can't stop that run, man, that you're gonna have to adjust, and that's gonna leave a lot of openings behind us between the second and third level. Tons of openings, and that's where the Bears can really go to work if they decide to pound them, shove it down, run it down their throat. They'll have a good chance of hitting some big plays with play action. Cole Kmet's going to get involved. I think Roma Dunze is going to get involved. DJ Moore is everyone's going to be involved if that play action works, because we're pounding the rock, shoving it down, running it down their throat, and we start early.
Yeah, and that's the thing with them is like, yeah, they've come out guns blazing. I feel like the Cardinals have, and in a way that I think some people didn't expect. I feel, but James Conner is like, looking good, and Marvin Harrison's got 5 touchdowns, and you got McBride, obviously the tight end, who's doing doing well too. It's just they have a lot of weapons offensively. But yeah, it's just kind of how I felt about the Commanders. If the defense can handle Jaden Daniels, if they can hold him to a certain amount of points, and the Bears should win. And obviously they did, right? But unfortunately, the Hail Mary happened, but you got to do it again. And I think that this whole situation that happened last week, I feel like should light a fire under the Bears. And maybe we've said that before a ton, but this is it. I mean, you have to win these next 2 games. I mean, you just have to. It's going to get real tough if you come out here and go 1-1 in these games, or hell, even the Patriots are the Patriots, and that game, I mean, no question, as you say, you give them the respect, and they should blow them out, right? So you got to go out there and win this weekend, and look ahead to the Patriots and get another win. But it's going to be, it's not going to be easy, but knowing the Bears, that they definitely won't make it easy on themselves, but it's going to be interesting because they gotta get ready. But that'll be all that we have time for this week in the Bears Den. I want to thank my guy Shawn for joining me. Want to thank you guys for watching. As always, everything on WARR Media and SportsZone Chicago with the At Bat Podcast, Slam Society on SportsZone Chicago, Shawn and Maya, Second City Sports, all that. Make sure to follow us on all the socials. Check us out on that. And of course, hopefully everyone enjoys, had a safe Halloween, has a safe Dia de los Muertos. And hopefully everyone has a good weekend. Take it easy, everybody.